Welcome to Real Deal. This is Brian Rose. I'm live here at London Real's World Headquarters, and I'm here to answer your questions. This is our weekly show where I talk straight to you. I've got you live here on Facebook and on YouTube. And today I want to talk about something that, I've been talking a lot about lately, and that is this concept of pulling the trigger, of stop thinking and start doing, because I'm right here in the middle of our Business Accelerator program, and I've got about 10,000 people that have participated in a free workshop group, and I've got about 150 people that'll be joining me for the next 8 weeks inside of our Business Accelerator process. They're going to take their passion and turn it into a revenue-generating business guaranteed by December 9th. And I'm looking at these two groups of people, and it's kind of a 10-to-1 ratio, maybe, about a 100-to-1 ratio, maybe even 80-to-1, of people that pull the trigger and people that just kind of watch the world go by. And so tonight, I wanted to share with you some of the psychology that's going on inside your brain that gets you to take action, and some psychology that gets you to procrastinate. And I think it really all comes down to knowing the processes that we run in our brain. And if you can know this, you can literally become a high-performance person. And I always say, and I learned this from my mentors, that there are no high-performance people. There are only high-performance habits. And if you look at these incredibly successful people around the world, whether it's Conor McGregor or Elon Musk or Dorian Yates or Ido Portal or the $50 billion man, and I've met a lot of these people, they're actually not necessarily exceptional people, but they have high-performance habits and mindsets, and that's what makes them different. And so today, I want to share with you something that I'm working on for my book that's coming out next year. And it's a way that you can deconstruct these mental processes in your own brain and maybe for once get things like peer pressure working for you. Maybe for once get things like fear working for you, and it actually can be done. So I want to show you that process tonight. It's really what I call our transformation system, and you can use this in all aspects of your life. You can use this in your health, in your fitness. You can use this in your relationships, in your business, and more importantly on your impact on the world. And this is what I use in all of the accelerator programs that I teach. And so it's stuff that really works. I've field tested this and graduated thousands of students, and I hope you can get something out of this today. So I got a diagram coming later. Of course, I'm answering live questions here on YouTube and on Facebook if you want to ask me anything. But before we get started, I wanted to just talk about a few current events. First of all, I want to say congratulations to Khabib Nurmagomedov. You know his name, the Russian fighter who beat Conor McGregor this last weekend. It was an amazing performance. Fourth round tap out of Conor. And look, there was a lot of mayhem afterwards. He jumped out of the cage and started trying to kick people, and it turned into something that we don't like to see in mixed martial arts. But you can't knock the man. He fought an amazing fight. It was a great game plan, and he got the tap at the end. And so congratulations to you, Khabib. Looking forward to your career in the future. And for Conor, I know he's going to go back to the drawing board. I know he wants that rematch. John Kavanaugh, who we'll probably have on the show, spoke to Rogan yesterday about what's going on. And to look, they had a tough night. Conor did look a little flat. And with someone like Khabib, you're just going to pay for it. And you really can't have many holes in your game when you're going against a guy that's that dominant from a wrestling standpoint. I used to wrestle in high school. And if you get someone good that's wrestling you, they just smother you. They actually sap the will out of you. You just want to go back to your room in your hotel in Vegas, and you just want to call your mama. That's what you want to do. And so that's what Khabib does well. He works with the guys at AKA in California with champions like Daniel Cormier and Luke Rockhold, and they did an incredible job. So congratulations, and looking forward to the next fight. Also, want to give my hats off to Tony Ferguson, El Kukui, for an incredible performance. I just love his mindset. I love the way he moves. I love everything about what he does, and I'm looking forward to seeing him fight for the title very soon. Also, I've been watching this incredible documentary film about Mr. Rogers called Won't You Be My Neighbor? And this is a guy who was a real pioneer when it comes to child psychology and children's programs. I used to watch Mr. Rogers when I was a kid, and he was one of the first guys to see television as a medium that could change the world. And it's fascinating because I see YouTube as a medium to change the world. And Mr. Rogers saw it back then and said, wait a second, we don't have to put up these kind of Punch and Judy images where you show clowns getting whacked on the head and people falling down to make kids laugh. He said you can really talk to children about the problems they face in their life and the insecurities they have and the fears. And he was a real pioneer when it came to talking to children and getting them through a lot of their struggles. And let's be honest, it's hard being a kid. I've got a 1-year-old and a 2-year-old, and you know, you think they might have an easy life, but they go through some real struggles. Sometimes it's harder for them than it is for us. And it's a great documentary. I used to watch Mr. Rogers when I was a kid, and you watch it now and it's boring as hell. But when you're a kid, it plants a lot of seeds inside of you that make you a better person. And in some weird way, I'd like to think that that's what we're doing here at London Real with this incredible medium that is YouTube, which is about as new to the world as television was back in 1968 when Fred Rogers started his program. And I like to think that that we're trying to plant ideas, the inceptions of people making changes and transformations in their lives with the content we produce. And some of it might get you in because it's interesting or entertaining, but ideally it plants these seeds that you are able to transform yourself. And so I'm watching that movie. I highly recommend it. Actually, The Rock recommended that for me, so thank you for that, sir. I appreciate it. And finally, I just want to tell everyone that Dorian Yates is back. Yes, the six-time Mr. Olympia, considered the greatest bodybuilder in the world from 1992 to 97. Some people say he is still the greatest that ever lived. We'll be back in the studio for our conversation number 3. It's number 4 if you count the documentary film we did with Dorian. And, you know, I had 2 people stop me on the streets yesterday, and what do they talk about? Dorian Yates. And the great thing about Dorian is he transcends physicality, he transcends bodybuilding, because he's just such a wise man about life, about humanity, about why we're here, what we need to do. Talks a lot about psychedelics, about our mission and purpose in this world, and I'm super excited to have Dorian back. So if you have any questions for Dorian, you can leave them in the comments below, or I posted another video, Dorian Yates, Ask Him Anything, if you can post them there, and we'll be streaming that live from London Real Studios. Dorian's our most watched guest of all time on London Real. I'm a huge fan. He's also going to be holding so Dorian Yates will be holding an ayahuasca retreat down at the same place that I went to in Costa Rica to film Dissolution. It's called Soltara. It's an incredible place down there run by a guy named Daniel Cleland, who was here in London for the Iron Mind premiere just a few weeks ago. And so Dorian's taking a small group of people down there to spend a week with him with the plant medicines, and I even believe it's coinciding with the trip with Dennis McKenna. So there'll be more on that, and I'll have some links here in the video if you're interested, and Dorian will be talking about that. But put that on your radar, because if you ever want to drink ayahuasca with Dorian Yates and Dennis McKenna, well, it doesn't get much better than that. And so that's all happening. So that's the current events. And folks, I just really wanted to get into this concept today of pull the trigger. Stop thinking and start doing, because honestly, the last couple weeks make me angry, because I see a lot of people that come and they spend a lot of time. We have a Business Accelerator workshop group that's free on Facebook, and they brainstorm their ideas. I take them through my belief that you can turn your passion into a business, any passion that's out there. And some people think that's Disneyland thinking, and I know they're wrong, because I've literally graduated 1,000 students, over 1,000 from my Business Accelerator, and each one of them have taken their passions and turned it into a business. I had someone on the call the other night and said, Brian, I've got something I'm not passionate about, but I want to run this thing on Amazon. And I literally said, I'm gonna ask you to leave the call, because I don't want to work with you. I don't want to work with anyone who's not passionate about what they do. Life's too short. So I only surround myself with people that have passions, and I believe you can take any passion and turn it into a business. Look at Ido Portal. He's passionate about movement, turned it into a business. Look at Dorian Yates, passionate about, at first, bodybuilding and then spirituality. Now it's a business. Look at Dan Pena, passionate about high performance, and now it's a business. All these people, they don't sell physical products. They sell intellectual property, which is responsible for 99% of the commerce in this world is ideas being sold. And people think they have to sell a cup of coffee or a muffin or an ab roller to be in business. It's not true. You just have to sell your energy and your ideas. And that's what I teach inside the Business Accelerator. And again, we're closing that out this week. There's links everywhere if you want to learn more about it. It's londonreal.tv/biz, B-I-Z. But what really makes me frustrated is I see a lot of people who know they need to join our course. They know they need the mentorship and the accountability. And I want to talk about that next, because I've got a diagram I want to show you, which is the London Real Transformation System. But before we get to that, they don't know how to pull the trigger. And sometimes these people spend 6 and 8 hours watching my videos. They come to my master classes. I see the same person over and over again. And when it's time for them to actually make it happen, I say, aren't you going to join us? And they said, no, I don't have the money. I don't have the time. And I'm like, well, you clearly have the time, because you spent 8 hours watching me over the last 2 weeks, and I've seen you on all the calls. So that's a lie. And if you don't have the money, well, you could have used that time to make money, even at minimum wage, and you probably could have afforded this. So something's going on in your brain where you're lying to yourself. And one of my favorite hip-hop artists, his name is Ice-T, and he has a great line in one of his songs, and he said, "You played yourself." And it always made me think when he said that line, you played yourself, you played yourself. Look at that person laying down on the street addicted to drugs. Look at that person in a situation where they can't feed your family. He's like, you played yourself. What does that mean? Well, it's no one else's fault but yours because of the mental loops that are going on in your head. And if you can identify what you're doing in your mind and fix it, you can move forward and really accomplish anything you want in life. And if you look at the greats in this world, again, Conor McGregor's and Elon Musk's and Richard Branson's, they just push through these natural tendencies in their brain and get to the next level. And so I want to talk about this transformation system, and hopefully you can take it today. And again, it works in everything, whether it's your health and fitness, your eating habits, your business habits, even relationships and how you deal with people, all comes down to this system. But I always ask myself, how come some people pull the trigger and how come some people don't? And I think, first of all, it starts with something called your peer group. Now, if you're following me here on Facebook Live or on YouTube, type yes in here if you've heard this saying, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So just type that in the chat. I think it was originally coined by Jim Rohn, one of the great speakers out there and motivational people. And type yes if you know what I'm talking about. And what it really refers to is this concept that you surround yourself with people and your goals align to those other people. And unfortunately, most of the people we hang out with are friends and family who are not aligned with where we want to go. And here's a quick exercise. If you want to know the people that you're spending the most time with, go to your phone right now and go to your text messages on your phone and hit that button and look through who are your last 5 to 10 text messages. Those are most likely the people you're spending the most time with. And here's my question for you. Are those high-performance people? Are those people trying to build $1 million business from scratch in the next 6 months? Are those people trying to get on the TED stage? Are those people looking to write a book? Are those people looking to change the world with their ideas? And here's the answer you're not going to want to hear. None of them are, right? Unless I texted you in the last few days, none of them are. Because our friends and family, almost by default, are not going where we want to go. And so the first problem you have if you're not able to pull the trigger and get the results you want is you're hanging out with the wrong people, period. And that's one of the things I learned when I got back from Dan Peña's castle. He said, literally, change your phone number or call all the people up and leave a message and say, from now on, I will not be picking up your call. Please delete my number because I'm no longer going to associate with you. And that's why Dan has a 50% divorce rate, 50% of his businesses, they break up with their partners because they come back with a new mentality and they can't surround themselves with the people around them. And you've all heard that analogy of the crabs, right? If you take a bucket of crabs and there's one trying to get to the top, the other ones will literally pull that crab down. And again, if you can, just type yes in the chat if you've ever felt that way about your friends and family as far as them pulling you down, because it tends to happen. And I felt this myself when I started London Real. I asked my friends and my family to support me in what I did. And quite honestly, they all thought I was crazy. They thought I was stupid. They're like, Brian, the banking was one thing, but now you're on YouTube. No one had heard of YouTube. No one had really heard of anything I was doing. I was talking for long periods of time. No one was doing that. Podcasts, forget about it. And my friends and family wouldn't support me. And so I had to make a conscious decision to find a new peer group. And in my TED Talk, I talked about this. Go and find your new tribe. People who are aligned with who you want to be. This is so important. And it's so important now to cut out these other people in your life. And sure, you might not have someone to get drunk with on a Friday or someone to watch 6 hours of football on Sunday. And that could be American football or, of course, European kick-the-ball football. But either way, it's a waste of your time and it's not taking you where you need to go. And so you've got to surround yourself with the right peer group. Otherwise, you're never going to be able to pull the trigger. And I'll tell you, spending a lot of time with London Real in your ears or in your eyes can be one of the members of your peer group, really. Being around the Joe Rogan Experience or me or Dan Peña, these people can all help you get ideas associated with, but you really need to be hanging out with people that want to take their lives to the next level. So my first advice to you, if you really want to pull the trigger, stop thinking and start taking action, is to be around people that are doing what you want to do. Try to be the dumbest person in the room, not the smartest person in the room. And a lot of people like being the big fish in the little pond. I remember I used to work with a guy in the city here in London, in the Wall Street equivalent of London. And he was this kid from Essex, and he was really doing well. Never had gone to university, and he was making a couple $100,000. And for him, he was a big fish in Essex because he would go back and throw a bit of money around. And I was like, dude, you got to move to London because you know and I know you should be making millions. Yet back where you're at, you're the king. And the truth is he never moved and he never got any better and he never really made a career out of it because he was hanging out with people that didn't want the big things, that didn't push him and didn't call him and say, why don't you do more? He was hanging out with a bunch of people that kept saying, you're doing great. Wow, it's amazing. You should be so happy. And not much happened. And so it's because he didn't get out of his comfort zone and he didn't get into a new peer group that the changes didn't happen. And again, you can find these people online. And one of the things that happened when people joined my Business Accelerator is I introduced to them 150 people from around the world that all commit to build a revenue generating business in 8 weeks. They are pumped, they are excited, and one more thing, they have paid the price to action. And this is such an important concept and one that I want to talk about here when I show you my transformation system. When you pay the price to action, and that could mean a variety of things. It might mean making an actual payment with money. It might mean sacrificing something. But when you do that, you put skin in the game and you now are invested in your transformation. Without that pay price to action, I refuse to work with any students. And that's why I don't teach my courses for free, because when I do, I get 0 results. Why? Because nobody is invested. They don't have skin in the game. They don't have money to lose if they walk away from my teaching. And that's what I'm always looking for, and it's a crucial part of what you're doing. And so when you jump into this group in our accelerator programs, you got 150 people. First of all, you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. What if you get 150 people plus me? All of a sudden your game gets raised to another level. You've paid the price to action and you've started what I call this transformation system. And so now I want to share with you some of the things that I'm actually working on. I shouldn't share this with you because my publisher is asking me to keep all of this intellectual property quiet until the book comes out next year. But I don't like listening to people, and this is my business, and I like doing whatever the fuck I want to do. So I want to share this with you, and I want to give you some of this intellectual property, and I want you to give me your feedback. So I'd love any questions or comments that you have about this. And again, in Facebook, I'll be watching you, and I'm also going to check you out on here on YouTube on my phone and see if I can find your thoughts. But I want to share with you a work in progress on our transformation system. And again, it's got 8 steps, and if you follow these steps, you can implement anything you want in your life. Again, a new fitness regime, a new diet, a new mindset, a new relationship, a new business, a new client, a new way of impacting the world, a public speech. All of these things that you want to do, to a new digital product, a new JV partner with a business, anything, a new podcast, anything you want to do can be broken down to this system. If you're missing one part of this, you will fail. And so that's why it's really important to have all of these things set up. And so right now I want to go through with it. And then I also want to answer some questions. By the way, I see everybody in here. So Rob McCarthy's in here, James Holloway. We got Julia Grant here, Lucy. We got, my beautiful wife, Mariana, watching me from home. Baby, I hope you're feeling better. I hope the kids aren't driving you absolutely crazy. Vincent's in the house, Nabil. So again, thanks for being here. And I want to check in with the people on YouTube as well. But now I want to share with you my transformation system. And again, try to keep this to yourself. No screenshots, please. No posting of this. But give me some thoughts here and some questions on what's going to go on. And I want to share with you this transformation system. And again, here are 8 steps. Each one is crucial if you want to make a transformation in yourself. And again, this could be something that happens in 24 hours, in 8 weeks, like on my Business Accelerator, or in 1 year, or in 7 years of London Real. All of these things have little loops, and we're constantly running these loops. And if you look to these specific actions, we're going to find that it works for you. So let's go take a look at it now. And then after this, I want to answer some questions. Let me put on the screen now the London Real transformation system. And again, this is an 8-step process. And maybe if you identify this, you can actually find, if you've had wins in your life, you've probably had each parts of this transformation system. So the very beginning of this transformation system starts with what I call idea inception. And with idea inception, it's when you first have that inspiration, that glimpse of what could be in your life. Again, there was that great movie called Inception, where once an idea is planted in the brain, it can't be taken away. And so all of us something begins with a thought before we take the action. And this is a really important point in the movie I made with Dorian Yates. He has a great quote in the beginning, and he says, everything begins with a thought, and then comes the action. And that's exactly what we have here. So anything you've ever accomplished in your life, any transformation, any goal, all started with that idea inception, which is, oh, I really want to build a business from my passions. I want to start my own podcast. I want to get six-pack abs. I want to have a fruitful relationship. I want to have 2 beautiful boys. I want to start my own podcast. I want to make my own feature-length documentary film. I want to go 100% plant-based. I want to run an Ironman at 47 years old. I could go on and on and on and on. It all starts with idea inception. Now, you might get that idea first from watching an episode of London Real. You might hear Bruce Lipton talk about something, or Dan DePani talk about something, or Ido Portal talk about movement, or Dan Pena talk about high performance. But something starts up here. Everything begins with a thought. So, idea inception is where it begins. Some of you are thinking now about what your idea is. And if you can, type this in the chat right now and tell me, what is the idea you have? What is that thing that's gone into your brain and you're thinking, I want to do that thing? Again, maybe it's find a new source of revenue. Maybe it's quit your job. Maybe it's travel the world. Maybe it's a new relationship, whatever it is. So from the idea inception, the next step really is to find the mentor, because there's really no transformation without a mentor. Now, a mentor can be dead. You know, a mentor can be from the past. Walt Disney still inspires people to do things. I still read about that. Sun Tzu, The Art of War, he still teaches people the fundamentals of warfare which apply to business. The mentor can exist in many forms. It could be a live mentor like me, walking you through in person with live calls on the Business Accelerator for the next 8 weeks. It could be watching videos of Dan Pena go crazy up in his castle in Scotland. It could be Ido Portal going to one of his 2-day movement events that are incredible. You need to find the mentor. I don't believe there's any transformation without some type of mentor, maybe real or virtual. The next step comes pay price to action, and I talked about this earlier. This is crucial. Without a pay price to action, you're not invested in the outcome and you will quit. Let me say that again. Without a pay price to action, you are not invested, which means at the first sign of resistance, which I'll get to later, at the first sign of a problem, and trust me, they come. It could be that your wife or husband or girlfriend or boyfriend got angry with you. You get sick. The economy goes down. Something falls through. Any technology failure, earthquake, whatever it is, there's going to be some resistance. If you pay price to action, you will get there. In my accelerator courses, I ask for money up front. That clears the suckers out, to be honest, and it separates the people that talk the talk compared to the people that walk the walk. And that's why there's 10,000 people in my free workshop, and there's 150 people that pulled the trigger on this course. Those are the people that will have a revenue-generating business by December 9th. The other people will still be talking about it. They will probably have made very little action. I've never in my entire career here at London Real seen a single person do it on their own. And again, how many podcasts have you listened to? How many books have you watched? You just can't get through it without finding the mentor and the pay price to action. And I always tell this story about when I learned transcendental meditation. I had to pay $2,000 to learn how to meditate. This is back 10 years ago when I was a banker. And it was a lot of money, but I didn't know how to learn it. YouTube wasn't really around back then. There wasn't much happening. So I paid the price. And because I paid that money, I went to every single class. I did all these goofy things they told me to do. I went through the wackiness. And guess what I did this morning when I woke up? I meditated. The transformation happened because I paid the price to action. Never underestimate that. Now, I could have said, it's not worth $2,000. Is it worth me meditating every day for 10 years? I mean, that's probably worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. The amount that's changed me, that's probably improved my life, improved my income. So yeah, it was worth it. And that's the other thing. Some people get so caught up in a financial amount that they don't realize the investment they're going to get from that small pay price to action. And the truth is, folks, I mean, you know, some of us have spent $1,000, you know, at the nightclub, at the pub, on a vacation, on a meal, on a present that they don't even remember what happened to them. Money comes and money goes, but true investments will change you the rest of your life. So again, we continue around this circle of transformation to the pay price to action. Next, you need to create your game plan. No transformation happens in an instant. You can't just pay a price and you're done. I see these people all the time. When it comes for New Year's, they join the gym, they think they're fit already, and they never actually show up. That doesn't work. You must create your game plan or have someone like me create it for you. In the Business Accelerator, it's an 8-week blueprint. There are a lot of steps. I think we have 24 different pieces of video, workbooks, all of these action steps to get you to the step. And again, there's constant uploading videos, running webinars, creating landing pages, creating social media posts, creating free videos, creating a digital product. There's all of these things. You must have a game plan or none of this will work. The next step, and this is crucial, this is what takes you from the thinking part to the doing part, is you must take action. You must start doing the work. If it's a fitness routine, you must head to the gym. You must get out and run. You must do those crunches. You must do those pull-ups. If it's a diet routine, you must start cooking right. You must start eating right. If it's a business accelerator, I'm going to ask you to do your 10 vlogs in 10 days. That means uploading video, going into the pain points. I need you to create your landing page. If it's broadcast yourself, I need you to buy the microphones, reach out to the guests. If it's the Life Accelerator, I need you to do your gratitude journal, to do your affirmations, to do your low media diet. I need you to go ahead and start changing all these things about your life. Taking action is crucial, and it's what probably your current 5 people in your peer group aren't doing much of. They probably go to work, go to the pub, wake up the next day, rinse and repeat. They probably complain a lot. They probably have no goals. And they probably talk a lot about people and things and not about the ideas in the future. That's another way to check your peer group. Are you talking about ideas in the future? Those are the people you want to hang out with. Are you hanging out with people that talk about the football game and talk about other people behind their backs and talk about the price of some, I don't know, piece of electronics? Those aren't the people you should be hanging out with. So anyways, take action. The next part comes, and this is crucial, is called fight resistance. And a lot of you know what resistance is because in my TED Talk, I talked about this concept of resistance that I borrowed from Stephen Pressfield, who's the author of The War of Art, an incredible book, an incredible author. And he defines resistance as this. It's anything that keeps you from doing what you need to do to transform your life. And again, it can come in many forms. You can have technology resistance if you're streaming live. You can have relationship resistance. You can have resistance in the weather, in money, in anything that stops you from accomplishing your goal. And here's the other thing about resistance. It's directly proportional to the size of the task you want to accomplish. If you want to try to win the UFC lightweight championship belt, then guess what? You're going to have a guy named Habib who's some massive resistance. You're going to have media. You're going to have haters. You're going to have weight cuts. You're going to have press obligations. You're going to have problems in sparring. You're going to get injured. Massive resistance because you have a massive goal. Same with you. If you're going off to lose 10 or 20 pounds, if you want to become more spiritual, if you want to create that business, if you want to start your own show, anything, you're always going to have resistance. But the beautiful thing is that we don't get emotional about resistance in the London Real Academy. We look at it, we expect it to happen. And so when someone comes, a friends and family, and doesn't support you, when someone won't loan you the money for the course, you say, oh, that's resistance. I just have to find another way. When you struggle with your technology or you get in fear when you want to post a video, you said, oh, that's just resistance. I expect that. In fact, I need resistance because it keeps all of the suckers out from doing what I want to do. If there was no resistance, everyone would be doing these things. And so I actually look for forms of resistance. I push through them, and that's why I deserve the wins. So it's all part of the transformation process. Fight the resistance. If you're not fighting resistance, then there was no goal. If you're like, oh, I really want to lose 10 pounds, and the next day you wake up 10 pounds lighter, well, it wasn't a great goal, was it? You know, it wasn't that great of an accomplishment. You won't value it, and there won't be any transformation. So again, expect resistance and fight resistance. Next part, and this is crucial, is you must be held accountable. Let me repeat. You must be held accountable. Without it, you're not going to be able to accomplish anything, and that's why our accelerator programs are so popular, because they are the only online accountability courses in the world. No one else checks up on you, constantly monitors your progress, and calls you out on your BS when you make excuses, when you procrastinate, which most of us do. You must be held accountable. This could be a martial arts instructor that makes sure you come to class, make sure you're doing the work. This can be a university professor that gives you a grade, although I don't think that's a great way of teaching anymore. I think the way we teach is even better. It could be me with our accountability doc calling you out on a live call saying, where are my videos, where is my digital product? I don't see the webinar scheduled yet. Accountability, folks, is how things get done. I'm accountable to you right now to be doing Real Deal like I said I would every single week. I got excuses. I got things I need to be working on. I got all sorts of problems. But guess what? You're holding me accountable. This weekend, we're going to publish a London Real episode on Sunday, just like we've done for 7 years in a row. I'm being held accountable by you. That's why we've managed to transform in such an amazing way. I'm held accountable every day by my sons, by my wife, by the team here, by my guests that come on and expect an amazing premium experience. Man, I got accountability everywhere, which is why I've been able to be so successful. It's not necessarily because of me. It's because I've set in places these accountability structures. And finally, all of this together leads to a transformation in yourself. And that's when you really can look back at yourself and say, wow, I'm proud of who I am. I've become someone I never thought I could be. And guess what I want to do now? I don't want to pop the bottle. I don't want to go back and eat the pizza and ruin my diet. I don't want to go back and do all those bad habits and stop working out or going back to the drinking or hanging out with those losers. What do I want to do? I want to find a new idea. And I want to go back on the loop again. I want to go one more ride. I used to go to Disneyland when we were a kid, and we would go on Space Mountain. It was such a great ride. When we were finished, we'd go back to the front of the line, and we'd go again, and then we'd go again. And this is what life is like for me. I'm done with a movie. We finish it. We do the premiere. We're doing the online premiere coming up. I'll talk about that later. What do I want to do? I'm writing a book. What am I going to do? I'm going to run another business accelerator. What am I going to do? We're going to make another movie. What am I going to do? I'm going to find some way to transform the world. And this is the London Real Transformation System. Again, it's an incredible loop that if you run it in your lives, you can constantly be running things. You can run multiple loops at the same time. I'm doing this. I'm doing 100% plant-based diet. Earlier, I was doing an Ironman race loop. I was also doing a Be a Better Parent loop. I was also doing a Be a Better Leader loop here at London Real, all having mentorships, pay price to actions, resistance being fighted, being held accountable, and all being transformed. And so I want you to think about this and try to identify aspects in your life. And if you could now in the chat right here, type in what is the thing that you want to do? What is that idea you have for your own transformation? Maybe it's starting a business in the next 8 weeks. Maybe it's losing weight. Maybe it's building a body, starting a family, writing a book, getting on the TED stage. I've got a bunch of people now going through my Speak to Inspire public speaking course. Maybe it's just getting high performance habits like we do with our Life Accelerator. But just type into the chat right now what it's going to be. Charles says Ironman. But again, just to finish up on this loop, every great transformation process has these 8 pieces. If you don't have it, it didn't happen. And I'm sure you might find an exception for me, but I would really argue that there aren't any exceptions. You obviously have to have the idea. You must have some type of mentor, some type of intellectual property, someone showing you the way, past, present, or future. You must pay the price to action, otherwise you will quit. You have to put something on the line that makes it a value. This could be shaming. When I did my TED Talk, I told the whole world I was going to do a TED Talk. That was my pay price to action. Because if I didn't do it, everyone would have said, Brian, you are a liar. You talk a big game, but you don't deliver. That would have hurt me so much that I made sure I showed up. That's my pay price to action. There's all sorts of pay prices to action. When I have my sons, my pay price to action is I couldn't live with myself if they don't grow up to be the most incredible adults in the world. And so I will not give up on those boys no matter what. My pay price to action. Game plan. Always have to have a game plan or have the help of your mentor to create your game plan. Taking action, massive action every single day to make this transformation happen. Fight resistance every single day. If you're not fighting resistance, then your idea is a weak one and you're not transforming yourself or you're not pushing hard enough. Accountability. You must be held accountable to someone, to a mentor, to a peer group, to yourself, to the public that you've never met. And then finally, you must actually transform yourself. Complete the loop and start over again. So anyways, I would love for you all to tell me more. Again, don't share this with anyone. This is a highly top secret, but we can go ahead and take that off the screen. But I would love to hear your comments now and get what you're thinking or any questions you have on Facebook or on YouTube about this transformation system. And again, this is really important to me this week because I just see a lot of people doing this right now. And I see a lot of people not pulling the trigger. And I see a lot of people being what I call tourists, people that are just watching the world go by. One day they're going to start a business. One day they're going to do this. One day they're going to lose weight. One day they're going to start a fitness routine. And for me, it's just kind of sad. It's sad to watch that go by and that not really happen. And so that's really what I want to talk to you about, and I want to get some questions. So let me just go to Facebook really quick here, and I'm trying to get YouTube up as well. Vincent says he wants to build a workshop. Okay, that's interesting. I'd like to find out more about that. And again, if that's the idea, what's the next point? I don't have it up there. But the next thing you're going to have to do is find the mentor and pay the price to action. Those are the two crucial things to do. That is what you should do right after you have the idea to make it happen. Jason said auto racing, something to do with action sports. Okay, good. Again, be specific about the idea, find the mentor, pay the price to action, get the game plan. Start a business, Alan, very, very important. You know how we do in here with the Business Accelerator. Of course, you're welcome to join us. It's londonreal.tv/biz, B-I-Z. Marzina has said, how true is all of this? Thank you, Marzina. I got to tell you, amen to that. What can I say? Marzina is saying wisdom and priceless. Okay, good. Sounds like this stuff is really helping. So people know the movie Inception. So look, it feels like everybody on Facebook is really understand what I'm talking about here. And again, I want to answer a few more questions and see if I can find this on my YouTube so I can answer some questions from here. Let me see. I'm live here. It looks like we got a nice crowd on YouTube. So cool. Let me kill the volume here. So this is definitely live, right? So good. Some great questions here. People are looking, ask a few questions. Some people want to change the monetary system. That's a great thing. Some people say, how do you find a mentor? Where does your belief system fit in 8 points, which is great. James says he wants to educate and help people becoming healthy through diet and mindfulness. That's really good, man. I love that. Master English and be fluent. And let me just see. Wait in response. This is great, man. Okay, great stuff. All right, look. Some great questions here, bringing more balance physically and mentally. It sounds like a lot of people have some great inceptions of ideas. The problem that happens is that many points, people don't follow through. So if you've had an idea right now, that's great. Again, a lot of people inside my Business Accelerator workshop, they're brainstorming their ideas, but it comes the point where they don't actually pull the trigger. So all I would say is this: get yourself around a peer group of people that are taking their lives to the next level. If you have to pay for that peer group and join an accelerator program or join a course, then do that, because that's really important to do. Also, you need to find the mentor and pay the price to action. That's one of the crucial things to do. If you don't do this, you'll continue to entertain that idea for the rest of your life. And I can tell from a lot of people in here on this chat here on YouTube, it sounds like a lot of people have had these ideas for a while. And so again, you have to pay the price to action. So Clara says, travel to Peru for an ayahuasca retreat. Well, you can go see Dorian, of course, that's great. But you have to find a mentor and pay the price to action and get a game plan. So again, you need to pull the trigger on the process. And that's really what makes the difference between the people that become your heroes and the people you talk about and the people that just let life pass them by. And so really, just to finish up here, these are all great ideas from all of you. What they lack is a game plan, they lack a mentor, and they lack the pay price to action. So if you're really serious about putting these things in place, whether you're on Facebook or on YouTube right now, I want you to do the following things. I want you to go online and go into Google and type in the keywords, okay? So if you want to go to Peru, if you want to build a workshop, if you want to get into competitive racing, I want you to look at all the options out there where you can pull the trigger right now. Pay some type of price to action, whether it's $100 or $1,000, whatever it is. Find the mentor, find the game plan, and pay the price to action. Once that is done, I almost guarantee you're going to follow through on this. And if you don't, if you join another free group, watch another podcast, read another book, I guarantee you're not going to get anywhere. Because one of my great mentors, the Dan Pena, the $50 billion man, said, Brian, research is procrastination in disguise. And this is a really serious point. So if you're still researching Peru and your workshops and going into competitive racing, this is procrastination. And I see people all the time that are thinking about my Business Accelerator and they're like, yeah, Brian, I'll look into your course. I'll join later. And I'm like, look, don't look into it. There's times to think about it and there's times to pull the trigger. Most research is procrastination in disguise. All of my successful students and all the success that I've had in the past, whether it's at MIT, on Wall Street, in the .com startup world, or here at London Real, it comes from pulling the trigger based on my gut feel. Do I believe this is the way for me to move forward? Am I scared? Yes, pull the trigger. Is this the right mentor? Yes, pull the trigger. Is there a pay price to action that makes me hurt a little bit when I pay it? Yes, pull the trigger. Is there a game plan, a blueprint I can see of what they're going to do? Yes, pull the trigger. That's what we do inside all of our accelerator programs. I show you the pay price to action, which is significant. I want you to put money on the line. That's how I get million-dollar businesses created. Is there a mentor? Me, yes. Is there a blueprint? Yes. 6 weeks or 8 weeks. pull the trigger. Whenever I've had success in the past through martial arts instructors, the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, through my mentors on Wall Street in the dot-com startup world, they've all had pay price to action, game plans, and mentors. So look for those in your life. Go towards them. Normally you would run away from them, right? Oh, it's too expensive. Oh, the mentor seems hard to get in touch with. I'm looking for a game plan. I can't find one. These are all signs you need to go harder and look for these points. I guarantee if you look at the great people in history, they all paid the price to action. They all found the mentor and they all had a game plan. And that's why they are where they are. So those are my thoughts today for you. If you really want to make a difference in this world, if you really want to get out there and be somebody, if you want to pull the trigger, stop thinking and start doing, use this 8-step process. It's the London Real Transformation System. Again, the book's coming out next year and I'll be talking more about it. If you want to do it in the short term, we are here at London Real Academy. We have the greatest, in my opinion, education and transformation platform in the world. 2 years from now, the whole world's going to be talking about this. Right now, you know about it. Of course, for the next 8 weeks, we're going through our Business Accelerator. I'm closing this course out today. It's londonreal.tv/biz, B-I-Z. If you want to join it, pull the trigger. You'll have a revenue-generating business by December 9th or your money back. That's how confident I am with what's happening here. Also, if you want to join anything else we do here, go to londonreal.tv. You can look at all of our programs. We have programs for broadcasting yourself, public speaking, and of course, high performance habits, what we call our Life Accelerator. We have our community called our tribe, and I have my inner circle of private mentoring students. If there are other opportunities for you out there to pay the price to action and to find the mentor, do it. I constantly pay mentors every single day of my life. I have a hand balancing coach, one of the best in the world. I have a jiu-jitsu instructor, Ross Nichols, just won the Abu Dhabi Championships in Europe. I pay him to train me every single week. I have a breakdancing instructor, one of the best. I pay him every week. I have a swimming. I always pay the best, right, to get where I want to go because I don't want to waste time. Why are you wasting time? A lot of people say, Brian, I don't have the money, but you have a lot of time? No, you don't. So pay the money so you can save time to get to your goal faster, which will make you more money in the long run. So those are my thoughts today. Hopefully next week I'll come back and talk about time versus money and how most people are penny wise and pound foolish. And I see it all the time where, like I said, people spend 8 hours with me on a call and yet they say I don't have a couple $100s to change their lives. I'm like, you have your priorities wrong. And again, it's another loop that you're running in your brain. And I'm going to talk about this in the book that's coming in the future. So there you go. Thank you for being here at The Real Deal. I hope you got something out of this. If you have, please share this video with a friend. Please type in the comments, give me some feedback, or tell me what you want me to talk about next time. Again, I'm just dropping science on everything I learned here for the past 7 years from the incredible guests over the world. I've taught over 3,000 students who've graduated my academy. Many of them have built million-dollar businesses on the back of it. People that have done TED Talks on the back of my public speaking academy, people that have done award-winning and world-class podcasts they've created. So I know what I'm doing here. I've seen the feedback loops. I've seen the transformations, and I know we can help you too. But it all starts with you. Stop believing your own lies. Pay the price to action. Get into a great peer group. Pull the trigger. Find a mentor and take action. Fight resistance. Be held accountable and transform. That's what it's all about, folks. And then do it again. And then do it again. I'll always remember what Dorian Yates said to me. I said, what did you do when you won Mr. Olympia for the 3rd time? You were considered the greatest male physique in the entire world. He said, Brian, I went back home the next day and I started training for next year. And I was like, that's the guy I want to hang out with, right? He said, Brian, I should have won that competition because I put the work in. I didn't celebrate. I got back the next day and I started lifting so I could crush it the next year. And what did he do? He crushed it the next year. And so that's the kind of people I want to be around. That's the peer group you should be around. People that are always looking for the next transformation, always looking to take their lives to the next level. I think that's why we're here as humans. And finally, I want to tell you, we are doing the very first online movie premiere I've ever heard of. It is the world premiere of Iron Mind. We are doing it live online at 5:30 p.m. London time, October 21st. I believe that is, when is that? So it's 5 hours earlier. So that's 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 9:30 a.m. Pacific Time in America. We will be live streaming Iron Minds, London Real's 4th documentary-length feature film. And again, this is my entire journey with John Joseph, lead singer of the Cro-Mags. I go 100% plant-based. At 47 years of age, I trained for my first Ironman race. everything, and we're all going to watch it together online. I'll be doing a live Q&A afterwards with you right here from the studio, and I look forward to having you there. If you want to learn more about it, go to londonreal.tv/ironmind, sign up with your email address, and we'll give you the notification and the link to watch this with us. And again, if you love the movie, please send out and share the shareable link afterwards. Your friends will be able to watch it free on londonreal.tv. So that's all happening. We're super excited. The response at the movie was amazing. There were people, they laughed, people were crying. It really changed their lives. This movie is not just about eating plants and running endurance races. This movie is about demons, your personal demons that are making you play small, your childhood traumas that might have caused addictions, that might have caused issues with you not being the best you. That's what this movie is about. It's how we can change our trajectory, how we can take ownership of our stories, how we can face our demons and use those places of darkness as strength to go forward and actually just crush life and to make this world a better place. So that's what's happening. I look forward to seeing you for that. And that's it, folks. I'm really enjoying Real Deals. If you're feeling this, leave me some comments there. Share these videos with a friend. Send me a video response. I think you can do those on YouTube. Of course, you can always email me. I'm brian@londonreal.tv. I would love to hear any thoughts you have, ideas. We're always hiring here at London Real World Headquarters. Go to londonreal.tv and look for our jobs. And again, we're constantly running these amazing accelerator courses, and I hope we see you on the inside. All right, folks, that's it. Whatever you do in life, pull the trigger. I'm out of here.
I'm Roger Frampton. I'm a movement coach. From the outside, it seems like I'm quite successful, but in reality, I'm losing a lot of money. I had a dream, and I want to be able to run my business from anywhere in the world. I've been doing the same thing for like, 5-6 years. The only thing I do different is just I keep upping my prices.
So you're trading your time for money.
Exactly.
And that can only get you so far. But you probably don't even realize how much value is in your head. Like, you're very good at what you do, but you can actually take the intellectual property in your head and put it into a product. You can literally make money while you sleep. The only thing keeping you from doing it is what? Fear, a little bit of worry. But if you could push through that, I guarantee you can make money.
I know what Brian's done. I know what he's done with London Real. I want to do that, so therefore I'm going to take the advice from someone who's done that.
This course is not about who puts in the more time. It's all about who goes into the fear.
All right, guys, let's talk about the standing position, which later we're going to be trying in restaurants. The fact that I just started blogging and then these people, got involved and was like, oh, I just realized what you do. I was like, these people were out there the whole time. I really believe that my video series is going to completely change people's lives. I'm so glad I discovered human movement.
My job is to get you uncomfortable every single day of the course.
Getting someone to pay $2K, I just don't know how to ask for it.
If I can do that, by the end of the course, you will be something that you won't even recognize.
Can't fucking do it, man. Right, I've got 53 people. Before we had 11. Starting now. 3, 2, 1. Boom! Can everybody hear me? So what we're going to be going through today is something called Bulletproof the Body. So are you joining us on this course?
Already did.
Boom! Welcome! Cool. Are you joining us?
I am joining you, yeah.
Boom! Awesome! But there's sales, man, and this means there's a business.
I'm sorry. It was a pleasure.
How many did you sell up to now?
20 grand.
$20,000.
Yeah.
Look, man, let's build something great together. Let's affect 1 million lives. Let's just really change the game.